Well, good evening once again, and welcome to the Monday Review Show. This is the show where we discuss all things refereeing and referees, of course. And let me point out right now, because as this is the first show of the new season, we never, ever, when I say we, I mean Keith and I, we never criticize referees for the sake of criticizing referees. We do it in a constructive way, we hope. And we hope that it will be a learning curve to other referees who may be watching in, and I hope they are, so that you can learn something from what you see. I'm just going to adjust the camera here slightly. And so it is never criticism. Keith and I have been there many times in difficult situations, and we would be the last ones to criticize referees because we know how difficult the job is. So let me make that statement here right at the very start. Now, as you know, you're more than welcome to send in a comment or ask a question. Please do participate in the show. Ask questions that you'd like answered, something that you're maybe not sure of. And it can be the case. Lots of people think they know all the laws of the game. And I know that from the way they introduce themselves, because they call them rules. And I know I'm being pernickety now, but they're not rules of the game. They are the laws of the game as created by IFAB, the International Football Association Board. And they were in force, IFAB, long before FIFA came into being. IFAB goes back to the 1800s when the game was created or invented. FIFA came in 1904, and they sort of coalesced together and they cooperate with each other. But the IFAB, the International Football Association Board, are the ones who create the laws, make the laws, and sometimes change the laws or water them down or increase them in other parts. And they have been doing quite a bit of that recently, and not always necessarily for the better. And we can talk about that a little later on. So if you'd like to comment, please do so. There'll be a little thing down on the, I'll just check it here now. There'll be a little thing down on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen where you can post a comment and ask a question. And I'll be more than happy to answer it. Now, unfortunately, Keith is away on leave, and a well-deserved rest for the man. He's been absolutely brilliant for me with the show over the last few years. He gives of his time. So he's away on leave now, and I hope he has a great time and comes back with his batteries fully charged. And he will be back. He promised me he will be back for next Monday night's show. So, as they say in the classics, I'm going to wing it and get through as much as I can. And if you'd like to give me a little help there, I'd really appreciate it. Send in your comments, something that's bothering you, something that's concerning you, that you're not sure of, you'd like clarification on, whether it's the laws of the game or the new interpretations of the laws of the game, whatever it may be, please do make contact. The show goes out on facebook.com/Hanging Judge Ref, and you'll check it there on the screen. The ticker tape is just going across there. You check it there. And please do make contact and throw up your suggestion. If there's something you're not sure of, something you want to argue about, or something you need clarification about, I'd be more than happy and willing to help you on that. Now, the new league, the Premier League in England, and that's the one we mainly deal with. But if you've got one in your country, and we do go out to the US, to South America, to Asia, India, even Japan, Australia, and of course Europe, and here in Ireland and the UK as well. So lots of people checking in, lots of people watch the show and learn from it, and I'm happy about that. But, if you want to ask a question, please do so. Now, last Friday night, the new Premier League season kicked off in England, and that was a match at Manchester United, between Manchester United and Fulham. Now, There were lots of comments about the referee that night, John Brooks. He's not that long on the Premier League, but I thought he did a very good job. And he didn't please everybody, as you never will. It's very difficult to please all the people all the time. There'll always be somebody who will disagree, and that's entirely their prerogative, because we live in a democracy. Most countries anyway, we live in a democratic society, and it is your right to question and to ask questions. And if you're not sure about something, to disagree with it. And by all means do so. And let's have a civil, most importantly, a civil and civil conversation about the problems that are bothering you. Now, I saw one on the referee. In fact, I think as early as 15th minute, John Brooks in the Manchester United Fulham game, he gave out his first yellow card. And I don't know how many, he gave out 3 or 4 maybe that night. But I saw comments on my Facebook page that he was being over officious. Now, what does that mean? Being over officious. How would you interpret or explain somebody being over officious? The man did his job. He's quite a competent referee. He did his job. What I didn't like about him on that night, and it was nothing to do with his decision making, it was more to do with this very, very patronizing way that some English referees have of going over to a player who's been fouled, and you know, a lot of them are diving. You can see them deliberately diving, and and they're going over to them and they're putting their arm around them, and are you okay? And I hope hope you're not too badly injured, when in fact, come on, they're not injured at all. They're ducking, they're diving, they're pretending, they're feigning injury. They're deliberately trying to get the referee to give a decision in their favor. Now, I have noticed in recent times that the referees are not falling for this tactic anymore, and rightly so, because last year and previous years, there was far too much of it going on. Far too much of it going on. I mean, it's so easy to recognize and to identify when a player is being fouled, pushed, shoved, tripped, stood on, stepped on, call it what you like. And most times they are not, it is not a foul, but they're giving a foul. And a lot of referees chicken out that way. And I use the word chicken out. In other words, they're trying to find the easy way out. Trying to find the easy way out of appeasing everybody. And the thing that really gets up my nose is to see some referees giving it, if there's a 50-50 ball, 50-50 coming together, they'll always seem to give it to the defending team. Why did they do that? Why do they do that? And that's why I say they take the easy way out, when in a lot of cases, it would have been the correct decision to give a penalty kick, but they won't do it. And remember, any kind of a direct free kick outside the penalty area is a penalty inside the area. Now, there's a very good referee who's now retired from South Africa, a guy called Victor Gomes. And he gave 5 penalties in one match. 5, yeah, 5. 5, I put on my hand so you can see it. 5 penalties in one match. They reviewed all of them. Newspapers went crazy. The referee spoiling the game. 5 penalties. Why did he give 5 penalties? How many direct free kicks would you give outside the penalty area? How many, if you were a referee? How many free kicks would you give? Lots and lots. I think somebody once said there's an average of 25 free kicks in each half. If each one of those were direct and they happened inside the penalty area, that's a penalty kick. That's a penalty kick. It's very, very simple. A direct free kick, not an indirect free kick. That's where you put your hand up over your head and you say it's an indirect free kick, meaning you cannot score directly. If you kick the ball and it goes into the net from an indirect free kick, when your hand is up in the air, that is not a goal. That is not a goal. That's a goal kick. You cannot score direct from an indirect free kick. I hope that's clear now. And if you have any problem with that, please come on to me and ask the question. The penalty kicks were reviewed, the ones I was telling you about, the 5, and there was just a slight doubt about one of them. The other 4 were deemed to be 100%. So why did the press go after this referee? That he was being over officious, that he was being too harsh? I have no idea. Now, this is where I level some criticism at the media, because they will do whatever they have to do to write their story and create a bit of controversy, because it'll sell more newspapers or get more reviews or comments online, whichever way they do their stories nowadays. And that's wrong, because that puts additional pressure on the referee in his daily life. And some have been threatened, as I have. And some have been assaulted, as I have. And some have been killed. And thankfully, it never got to that stage with me. And a lot of that comes from the hype created by newspaper articles. They must understand that they have a responsibility to write, first of all, what actually happened. Their duty as a journalist is to report the events, not to create the events. And there's an old saying about journalists that says you should never let a little bit of controversy get in the way of a good story, or never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Now, to me, that's sad, because their job is to report the events as they happened and not create something to build up the story. And that can happen, and that is happening. And that puts the personal safety of the referee or his assistants in the spotlight and possibly in danger. And some have been killed. That happens. So the first night, last Friday night, was John Brooks, and he refereed Manchester United and Fulham at Manchester United. And they said that because he dished out yellow cards early on, that he was being over officious. So tell me what being over officious actually is. To me, that's absolute nonsense. If you create a bookable offence in the first minute, then you deserve to be booked. And I've heard referees saying, oh no, well, I don't want to book too early because, then I'll have to end up sending off players. So what? So what? They don't have a free license for the first 20 minutes or half an hour or the first half to do as they please. And then you're going to dish out 10 yellow cards in the second half. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But players are under enormous pressure from their clubs and their manager to get results. And even they will excuse and overlook misbehavior, bad behavior, in order to gain possession of a ball that could lead to a goal, or may not. And to injure another player in the process seems to be okay. Now, which leads me on to another point, and I will get back to some of the incidents that happened over the weekend. It leads me on to another incident, that players have to have a responsibility to their fellow professionals. And the thing that really galls me is this shaking of hands before the start of the match. I think that is the height of hypocrisy, because they're no sooner has the game started and they're at each other and kicking each other and standing on their foot and what's the word I'm looking for? Down the back of the Achilles heel and things like that. But 5 minutes earlier, they were shaking hands like they were best friends. Total, absolute hypocrisy of the highest order. And if I was in charge of the referees, I would say, if you guys want to shake hands, go ahead. Don't come near me or my assistant referees. I'm out of it. Because again, they shake hands with the referee, and then they shake hands at the toss-up, the two captains, and the game will only have started, and they're at it again, at the referee. Hypocrisy. Waste of time. Don't do it. That's what I would say. And I certainly would refuse to do it if I was still refereeing, which is maybe why I'm not. So, okay. And that's okay. Then there was a game at Crystal Palace. And there was an incident in that. And free kick was taken, went directly into the goal. On its way to goal, the referee blew for a free kick. The goal should have stood. Replays of the incident he blew for as the ball was in the air highlighted no offence. Now, there was a famous incident way back in the 1980s at a World Cup, and I'm trying to remember who was actually refereeing. Oh no, I know who was refereeing. It was a referee from Wales called Clive Thomas, and he looked at his watch. The time was nearly up, and he was the sole judge at the time. They didn't have the cards showing there's 2 minutes to go, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. They didn't have that. Corner kick was taken, and as the ball came across, and before it landed on the guy's head and went into the net, the referee blew the whistle. Now, if that's not looking for trouble, then what is? Now, you might say the referee was correct, and he was legally and technically correct according to the laws of the game. The time he had added on had elapsed, and at that time the referee was the sole judge of what time would be added on. Nobody else. And he still is today. Only today it's now held up on a board and everybody can see it. So the ball went into the net. He should have played advantage, but he didn't. So there's little things like that. Now, some people will say, okay, it's early in the season and things will change and things will get better. Like the players take time to get fit. The referees will take time to get into their running mode, as it were, and they will get better. Well, I hope so, but really, they shouldn't be like the players. They shouldn't have time to get into their, I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. They shouldn't have that time, because they should be ready to go right from the start, because their decisions will decide who wins the game and who loses the game. And they haven't got the time to be saying, oh, well, it's the first game of the season. I'm just getting used to this now. It'll get better. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way at all. Oh my goodness, the whole issue of the handball now and making the body bigger and in an unnatural position and blah, 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 blah is really beginning to bug me now. It's really, really beginning to bug me. Oh, it's so simple. The handball, and it all comes from this the old book we used to get, but everything is online. This is the book we used to get. We don't get them anymore now. And this has all the laws of the game and the abbreviations and all the even little diagrams of where things are and so on. That was the laws of the game. But the handball in that is described as the movement of the hand or arm towards the ball, not the ball towards the hand, will indicate to the referee that a handball has taken place. Now they say if he's on the ground and he's protecting himself from falling, or if his arm is out from his body in an unnatural position, oh, goodness, it just drives me mad. Totally mad. Totally mad. It's very simple. Did the hand or arm move towards the ball, or did the ball move towards the hand? It's so simple. It is so simple. And the IFAB, under their technical director, David Ellery, former Premier League referee, they have complicated the law so much that it's difficult to know now what a foul is and what's not a foul. Why do they do that? And the other bugbear I have this week, and I'll finish with this, is and we've said it before many times, is the issue where the assistant referee does not put the flag up until play has gone on and on and on and on and on and on. And then if the ball goes in the net or something, then he puts the flag up. Now, the worry about there is, and remember, the players are the sole responsibility of the referee. He is their protector, and he protects them against himself, and he protects them against other players, and he protects them against the elements and the fans and everything like that. He is in sole charge. And it says that clearly, again, even in this book that goes way back, it says it here in Law 5. And I'm paraphrasing now. The referee's decision is final on all matters pertaining to the game. The referee's decision is final. And that still is there today. Now, is that happening all the time? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe it needs to be improved. Maybe it needs to be upgraded or even watered down, whatever. But certainly the issue of the handball is such a controversial issue for a simple law, and it contained in Law 12. And offside, that's the one I was talking about. Law 11 is offside. Now they're waiting for the ball to be the player to run on and shoot a goal, then the ball goes up. Now, from that time where the player is offside, that he's in an offside position, and remember, being in an offside position there's nothing wrong with that. It is not an offence to be in an offside position. It's only an offence if 3 issues: seeking to gain an advantage, interfering with play, interfering with another player, an opponent, or seeking to gain an advantage by being in an offside position. So as soon as he's offside, the flag should go up immediately, because if he's allowed to go on and some defender's chasing after him and tackles him, maybe in an illegal way, and breaks his leg, then what? Then all hell breaks loose. Because if the flag had gone up immediately that he had been offside, if the flag had gone up, that would have stopped all that and the player wouldn't be injured. And they're just I'm waiting for something to happen now that will really highlight this whole issue about offside and the flag, the delayed flag going up. Why is it being done? Why are they doing it? I have no idea. I really have no idea. So just going to do a shortened version tonight. I hope you learned a little bit from that. Keith and I will be back next week. And as I said, Keith is on his breakaway, and I'm happy for him, and he's away with his family, and I hope he enjoys it, but he will be back next week. And I hope you'll join me next week as well, when we will be back again, 8 p.m. Irish and UK time. It's called the Monday Review Show. It's on facebook.com/Hanging Judge Ref, Hanging Judge Ref, all one word. I hope you'll join me then. Until then, good night and God bless. Thank you.